Hello and welcome back to my channel, Mend with Mare. All right, you all, where have I been? Seriously, where have I been? I am just now understanding the greatness of the song Maroon. I don't know. I don't know why. It was one of those that I just skipped over. I made some really bad assumptions about the song at first. I don't know why. And then it came on and I was listening to it and I was like, oh my God, this might be one of the best songs on Midnights. I'm going to be doing it today. I'm going to be analyzing it because it's beautiful and it's amazing. And I'm so pumped about it. I'm disappointed in myself that I just now am getting the greatness of Maroon. I hope that you all love it too and are super pumped for this. I'm so excited. This channel is not to just analyze just her dating life because she's so much more than that. And I don't want to play into that narrative. However, I do think that it's about Jake Gyllenhaal because as much as the song kind of sounds like a song that would be on 1989, maybe some people are saying, I can't imagine her using so many variations of the color red for anyone else but Jake. I definitely think that this is about him and maybe a reflection back on that time in her life and the colors that it made her feel. All right, let's do it.
Cleaning incense off your vinyl shelf, cause we lost track of time again. Laughing with my feet in your lap, like you were my closest friend. How'd we end up on the floor anyway? You say your roommate's cheap ass screw top rose, that's how.
Okay, I feel like this really sets the stage of their relationship at the very beginning, that it's kind of messy because they're ending up on the floor or cleaning off the incense off of his vinyl shelf, yet it's also very all-consuming because they're losing track of time. You know what that's like? What do we call it? The flow state, when you are so engulfed in something, whether it's something that you're working on or with a person that you truly lose track of time, and it's the best thing ever. When you lose track of time and you are enjoying what you're doing, that's the best. I strive for that all the time. And I do feel like that whenever I make these YouTube videos, truly. And in my work, because I have a really hard time starting and ending session on time. And the laughing with my feet in your lap, it's just, you can tell that there's ease there and that they've known each other. It feels like what would be a really, really long time. Already, I feel like this is a foreshadowing about their relationship. So they don't know how they ended up on the grounds. So that could be two different things, like on the ground together, falling for each other. Or it could also mean or symbolize that things get kind of out of control when they're together. And this is the first reference to a shade of red, is when she's talking about your roommate's cheap ass screw top rosé. The color of rosé is really, it's like this. This is not rosé. This is pink lemonade.
Sparkling from Trader Joe's.
Not Starbucks. You get that whenever you mix that with some white, so some lightness, some ease there. And I know lots of people are going to say, well, Jake Gyllenhaal didn't have a roommate, but he actually did. He had his longtime friend who is a woman. There's pictures of them. They vacation together and they spend time together. They've been best friends forever. So think about that. The one that she was dancing with in New York, having no shoes, dancing around, it's comfort and ease and feeling really safe with the person, that you can really be yourself and just let loose. I mean, you think about the fact that she's looking up to the sky. Sometimes when we look up to the sky and it's reflecting some type of colors back to us, I think that it's symbolizing the whirlwind feeling of this relationship. So much much there. So the burgundy that's on her t-shirt, when you splash your wine into me, it sounds like this is red wine, which can be the shade of burgundy, and it's splashed onto her, so it's stained onto her t-shirt, which she's talked about other ways, like a wine stained dress I can't wear anymore from Clean, that the blood rushed into her cheeks, so scarlet, it was maroon. Think about whenever you are having an attraction towards someone, you will blush or blood will rush to your face and it'll be so scarlet. Scarlet is like a red hot, almost slightly orangey type of color. It's really this brilliant red color. And I think that it's symbolizing the passion that they had between the two of them and how the blood would rush into her cheeks, which is meaning that she's blushing from the passion, but it could be also certain activity that two people that are really into each other do can make them turn really flushed as well. So then she's talking about the mark they saw on my collarbone. I think that if somebody's commenting on a mark on your collarbone, I think that it might be, if it's red, it could be a hickey. That's what came to my mind. My mind can be in the gutter sometimes, so I could absolutely be wrong here, but I'm thinking of a hickey. And when you think about passion and a mark left on her collarbone, and you think about what a hickey is, I mean, it essentially is a bruise. It's been sucked so hard on your skin that it bruises your skin. And I think that that goes back to All Too Well. Did the twin flame bruise paint you blue? So if you would have a bruise from a hickey that is at first red and then it turns into a bruise, so it turns purplish or blue, I do think it goes back to All Too Well, which we all do know is about Jake. You can see how it started with red that's mixed with white would be the color of the rosé, and then it moves into this brilliant red scarlet color, and then now the mark they saw on her collarbone, which could be one that fades then if it was a hickey, like I think that it might be, and then the rust that grew between telephones. So rust is really just corrosion of some kind, and corrosion happens when something's not used for a while. You know that if you don't run your car or if it sits out during the winter the whole entire time, it's going to rust and it's not going to be able to move. So there's rust, like orangey brown reddish color that is developing between the telephones. So it's basically like they're not really talking to each other for a period of time, so rust developed. When she's talking about her lips that she used to call home, they were so scarlet at one time. They were once a brilliant red color. When I think of maroon, that's typically where you take red and you mix it with some brown. So it's kind of making it darker and muddier, which is interesting because it goes from all these levels of rosé and scarlet to a rust color and then to maroon. Maroon is a color that if red is mixed with brown and it's starting to get muddier and deeper, I don't know if it symbolizes that the love is getting deeper. I don't actually think that. I think that sometimes a flame will burn so bright, so fast that it ends up burning out. And maybe the red hot, brilliant scarlet got mixed with some of the ash and then it's burning out and fading. That scarlet color really ends up being dull, I think, just like a dull color.
When the silence came, we were shaking, blind and hazy. How the hell did we lose sight of us again? Sobbing with your head in your hands. Ain't that the way shit always ends?
Yeah, it does. It feels like that's the way that it ends. You think of the words blind, hazy, where you're shaking, how did we get here again? I feel as if it's referencing back to the very beginning, that they don't know how they ended up on the floor, how they had incense everywhere, and it felt kind of chaotic and a little unstable. And so the relationship was built on this like very intense and chaotic foundation, which isn't a good foundation. It's hard for them to get stabilized because it sounds as if there's a lot of highs and then there's a lot of lows. And relationships like that can be very, very fun, but they don't go the distance. They don't feel good. They don't leave you feeling good at all. Also, I don't know why, just for me, I work with a lot of loved ones of addicts and I have dealt with addiction stuff with people in my life. And I always associate addiction with the color red, and I don't know why. That's just always a color when I see it that I think it is. I feel like the highs and the lows that you also deal with addiction, I feel as if people can recreate in their relationships as well. So I do think that they're a little bit addicted to this.
You were standing hollow-eyed in the hallway.
Okay. Addiction, standing hollow-eyed in the hallway, probably from lack of sleep or confusion, feeling really lost about who they are and how things have gotten the way that they've gotten. I don't know. That gives me that too.
carnations you had thought were roses. That's us.
Oh,
What a good line. Carnations you had thought were roses. That's us. Okay, I will share something. I personally hate carnations. I'm sorry to the flower kingdom, but I've never been a big fan, and it's not just because they're cheap, but they do feel very generic. I remember my very first Valentine's. I was excited because I finally had a boyfriend. It was in high school. He wasn't technically really a boyfriend. He was, I don't know, it was very early on, but I remember that when he came to my house to pick me up, and I think he was taking me, I think we were going to the movies or out to eat or something. I don't know. I would have been too young. Anyways, he gave me a red carnation, and he let me know that he went through the bank down the street before he came up to pick me up, and that he got it for free at the bank. And I'm like, wow. So not only are you giving me a carnation, but you're giving me a flower that you didn't even pay for. Maybe that was the beginning of my, I don't know, self-esteem issues. That's a whole other story. Anyways, and this just signifies that he thought that he was buying something better. He thought he was buying roses, but they actually weren't roses. They're carnations, and there's a huge, huge difference.
huge.
Roses, I mean, roses are expensive. If you've ever tried to grow roses, I will never look at roses the same after growing my first rose bush that I started this past summer. I mean, they are very temperamental, and you don't know why. You can't water them too much or under, or have too many other plants there, or over fertilize it, or it gets angry. So roses are very touchy. They're hard to grow, and that's why they are so expensive, and they're beautiful, and the smell to them, I mean, forget about it. I think that this is also her seeing their relationship for what it is. No, we're not as good as you thought we were, or we thought we were. It's not as red hot as we thought. Really just carnations.
I feel you no matter what. The rubies that I gave up, and
So good, the rubies that I gave up. Rubies are a gem. They're a gemstone that are beautiful, and they're rare, and they're precious, and they're strong, and they're unbreakable. And that's how she saw the relationship. She saw him as rare, that they were bonded like a ruby, and that she had to give them up. He saw their relationship. He thought they were roses and was passionate, but he matched it with carnations, and she really did see it as something that wasn't just passion, that it was bonded and strong forever, but she had to let them go. She had to give up, because giving up on the future that they were once so certain of, it's still really hard to let go of something that's really precious. It's really hard to let go of something that isn't right for you, but that you still feel so much attachment toward. I can also see it as the rubies that I gave up. Maybe it's the sacrifices that she made. For some reason, sacrifices in my mind look red to me. This is more of my synesthesia coming in. This is just, it's a neurological sensory thing. It can be like when you hear music, you'll see certain shapes, or if you hear certain words, you associate them with certain colors that you see in your mind. I have that. And so when I think of addiction and I think of sacrifice, it's red. It's definitely red to me. So the rubies that she gave up, she's like, I don't want to make any more sacrifices for this relationship anymore. Even though it's precious and it's rare, I've got to let it go. I have to give them up.
lost you, the one I was dancing with in New York. No shoes, looked up at the sky and it was Maroon. D-O-I-T shirt when it splashed, you wanted to me, and how the blood rushed into my cheeks, so scarlet it was. The mark you saw on my collarbone, the rust that grew between telephones, the lips I used to call home, so scarlet it was. And awake with your memory over me, that's a real fucking legacy. And awake with your memory over me, that's a real fucking legacy to leave.
Yes, Taylor. I love this. Yes, Taylor. Again, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that my mom would like me to not cuss. I wasn't allowed to growing up. I would have to spell out the words. My mom said that I was too smart to express myself in that way. However, mother, I do feel as if sometimes the F word is appropriate, because it shows truly how much of an impact this relationship had. That's a real effing legacy to leave. Like, that was major. And I think that this is positive, truly. So she's like waking waking up probably even years later with this memory washed all over her. And maybe it was a memory that, really made her feel good and blush a little bit. And I feel like it's very positive. She's like, you made such an impact on my life. I'm waking up with your memory. Like, this is a real effing legacy to leave. It just proves that this is impossible to erase. This isn't a love or a memory or a situation that you can just erase. It permanently stained her like an everlasting scar. Scar, it's a part of you always. And I think that he is that to her. It's really beautiful, honestly, and a really painting him in a complicated but good light, I would say, because it's a legacy to leave.
The burgundy on my t-shirt when you splashed your wine into me, and how the blood rushed into my cheeks so scarlet. It was Maroon. I saw on my collarbone the rust that grew between telephones, the lips I used to call home so scarlet. It was
so good. I like the way that she kind of talks it, like the burgundy on my t-shirt while you splashed your wine into me. It's just almost as if the memory is kind of intoxicating to her. I don't know, it gave me that vibe. Maybe I'm totally off, but I really love this song. I think it's really good, and it's a nice testament to love that didn't work out, but it's a teacher. I hear a lot of people say, and I felt this way at times too, that when a relationship doesn't work out, you're like, that just was a waste of time, but it never is. It teaches you. Every single relationship, even horrible ones, teach you things, and it teaches you what you want and what you definitely don't want. And I think that it taught her a lot. It was probably her first love and first real passion that she felt with somebody, feeling really comfortable with someone and also confident, but also the highs and lows and a little bit of like addictiveness that existed in a relationship, and also that you're more prone to do that too whenever you're young. You'll go through that. And I think she's reflecting back on it and how it was a legacy. It's everlasting. It left a scar for sure. She got hurt from the relationship, but it taught her a lot, and it's not something that she wants to get rid of. It's not one that she wants to run away from, like in woulda, coulda, shoulda with that man I shall not name. I'm really pumped. I really loved it. I think it's a great song, so I can't wait to hear what you all think about it. Let me know if I missed the mark in any area, if I saw things differently. I really want to know. All right. Sending love to you all. I hope you're well. Take care. Bye-bye.